and it may not be who you're thinking at home. Middle linebacker Jaylon Smith signed a 5-year, $64 million extension with $35 million guaranteed. A huge payday, especially for a guy who fell in the draft after a torn ACL and LCL. So here's what Jaylon had to say about the new deal.
Well, I wanted to be a Cowboy for life. One of you guys interviewed me last week, and I was talking about that. You know, wanting to be a part of, you know, the most prestigious brand in the world. I recognize that, and I'm a team guy as well. I'm a leader. You know, eventually I'm going to be a captain, you know, for the Dallas Cowboys. I know it and I feel it, and really be able to exemplify greatness on and off the field. In order to win, you need guys, and I view myself as one of those guys.
Canty, how great is this for Jaylon Smith?
I couldn't be happier for Jaylon Smith. I mean, I know what that young man went through because I went through a similar situation coming out of Virginia. I dislocated my knee, tore 3 of the 4 ligaments in the knee. So going through the draft process, all the question marks, all of the things that teams are asking you, the doubts that you have about your current situation, taking a step up in competition, but not knowing whether or not you'll be the same player. CC, you mentioned the nerve damage that Jaylon Smith had as a result of the injury.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't know whether or not he was going to have an opportunity to play in the NFL. But seeing what he's done the last couple of years, and then, of course, the Dallas Cowboys pairing him with Leighton Vander Esch, they have one of the best, if not the best, off-the-ball linebacker tandem in the National Football League. Last year, the 2 of those guys combined for 261 tackles. I mean, that was lights out. You saw what he did in that Thursday night game against the New Orleans Saints, the versatility that he allows you to have, especially matching up with athletic running backs out of the backfield as receivers. I mean, Jaylon Smith allowed you to do a lot of different things. He gives a tremendous amount of flexibility to their defensive coordinator, Rod Marinelli, in terms of how they like to do things. He's a good off-the-ball blitzer, getting into the backfield, being able to get to the quarterback. There really isn't anything that he can't do from the linebacker position that you would want in today's game. Like, he is a complete linebacker. You can leave him on the field all 3 downs. I can't say enough about the player Jaylon Smith, but he's an even better person.
I agree with everything you said, and I know he spoke from the heart, but it also looked like he could have got talking points from Jerry Jones in a message to Ezekiel Elliott, because everything he said, I wanted to be a part of the Cowboys brand. You know, I want to be a part of this franchise. I'm a team guy. You need guys to win. Like, everything he said, you know, Jerry Jones, and again, I know he spoke from the heart. I don't think Jerry told him what to say, but that's what Jerry wants to hear when you've got your best player, Ezekiel Elliott, sitting out, you know, for these other reasons. So I think that's just a little side part of that as well.
When you're playing in the league, you know you have a salary cap. Right now, $178 million, almost $180 million. You need about 5 to 8 guys as your core guys. Guys going to be with you 6 to 10 years. They're going to be Pro Bowl players, but they're going to be the voice of the coaching staff, of ownership. So Jaylon Smith, that's who he is. That's who the person he is. That's who he was at Notre Dame. That's why he led them into that national championship game. That's who the person is. One of the sad things that I encounter about the league is that we do all these shows on all the saucy stuff, on all the guys' questionable character. Are they good teammates? Are they good role models? Or, man, should this guy be making this type of money? We won't be able to do a bunch of sound bites on him because people won't want to hear that. It won't be clickbait. It won't sell newspapers. But the National Football League is made up of a bunch of guys just like that. Hardworking, smart. He's the middle linebacker. He is the quarterback of the defense. He sounds like a quarterback. I want to be team captain one day. It's important to me to have that C on my chest. So that means my character, how I am on and off the field, it becomes paramount. My decision-making is based on what I want to do. So Jerry, man, he's always tried to have a core group of guys. And as you can see, any team that's going to win, they're going to have a nucleus of guys that decide we're going to go forward. That's what they did in Seattle with their guys, Bobby Wagner, Sherm, all those guys. And any other team that wins in New England, they've had a core group of guys, Gronk, Edelman, a couple of those offensive linemen, a couple guys on the defensive front. This is a guy, but we need more sound bites of, because we got a bunch of guys in NFL locker rooms sound like that guy, and we need more of it. I'm glad he got paid.
I'm glad he got paid, too. And you heard him at the podium. He said he wanted Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones to get the return on the $4.5 million investment they made when he was drafted in the second round. See, to me, that guy having that kind of attitude, those are the players that you want to empower. And see, CC, you mentioned this when it came to the Antonio Brown situation about Mike Mayock making the decision to pay him and the Raiders organization not making the decision to pay Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack. You send a message to the guys in your locker room. I think that Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones sent the message to the guys in their locker room. This is who we want. This is who we want to be as a team. This is how we handle contract negotiations. And so you reward a guy that comes in there and he works hard. They knew that they were going to have to pay Jaylon Smith at some point. They probably could have pushed it off till after the season. But guess what? They took care of him now because they wanted to send that message. And Jaylon Smith is a hard worker. Another thing that we don't talk about a lot with this Dallas Cowboys team is that defensive side of the ball. I mean, everybody pays attention to the triplets, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott. But that's a team that's led by their defense, and we saw that at several different points last year. I mean, throughout the last 3 seasons in the Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott era, this is a defense that's been in the top 10 in yards and or points. And that's a defense that's always out there setting the tone. They complement very much so what they do on the offensive side of the ball with that run game. So, I mean, a lot of people got to pay attention to the Dallas Cowboys and how they plan on winning games. Their formula for success is being able to play ball control on offense and being able to shut people down on defense. Signing Jaylon Smith and making sure you have him for the foreseeable future is going to allow you to continue that model.
Yeah, with that being said, Broussard, could the Cowboys' defense be their biggest strength?
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, you mentioned the 2 linebackers with Smith and Van Der Esch. I mean, you got Byron Jones on the outside. Like, it's certainly, I've been saying, I think they're going to start the season without Zeke, unless he just decides to take less money. And so until he gets back, I think the offense will be able to function and function fairly well without him. But certainly until he's back, the defense is going to be the strength of that team.
The defense is, they're matted together. Because that defense is not affected because they're a little undersized. Undersized defenses, they got to play less than 30 minutes so they can play quick, so they can get off the mark. Last season, that offense held the ball in 8 games more than 30 minutes. In those 8 games, they're undefeated. So to me, they're both very, very important. Your conversation about we need to put more optics on that defense, that is true because they do have star players and they do have a lot of quality players like Jaylon. And there's no championships in Dallas unless that defense is a top 10 defense.
All right, coming up, will Tom Brady's newest weapon be just what he needs as he looks for his 7th Super Bowl ring? That's next on First Things First.